Hi, Eddie.
Hello.
Hi, Bob. Well, welcome to the UK, welcome to London, and welcome to Rouleur Live. You both been quite prodigy. You both had long seasons, long careers. 17 years a professional rider for Edvald Boasson Hagen, 12 for both Jungels. Eddie, you just retired. How are you feeling? What you been up to?
Feeling good. It's nice to be, first of all, be here at Rouleur. It's nice, and but it's nice to also be retired and choose myself to retire and relax a little bit and be more with the family. So I enjoy the time. For now, it feels like a normal off-season, but it will be different when other people start training and racing again, and I can sit in the couch and watch like everyone or many other people, and then I can why didn't you do this and this, like everyone tell me.
No. Now we're back. We're back. Thank you, Bob. You both were talking about how early on your career you were very successful. You won World Time Trial Champion as a junior. Edvald won Gent-Wevelgem. The one characteristic of the two of you is that you both had a very impressive role in cycling, very good role in cycling despite not being a team leader. Your experience with Quickstep, especially quite that role of leading the team. You won Liège-Bastogne-Liège, Kuurne-Brussels-Kuurne. So you've been in top 10 Grand Tour as well, a few times. So looking back in perspective to those years at Quickstep, how you see those years now?
Yeah, well, first of all, hi everyone. Good to be here. And yeah, I mean, Quickstep I think was for me after being 3 years in track, where I had my start into the World Tour. I joined Quickstep. Immediately finished, I think, 6th in the Giro d'Italia, which opened a little bit that Grand Tour options really for the team and for myself. And yeah, I mean, looking back now, we had a wonderful time in all those years. I've been there 5 years. We had fantastic successes. Also for us young riders at that time, learning from riders like Tom Boonen, like Nicky Terpstra. I think we had, I think at that time we just had a fantastic classics team, dominated the Spring Classics for a couple of years, and just a wonderful time looking back for sure.
And you mentioned you went from an American team track to Belgium to French team AG2R, which actually Edvald's been racing for, Decathlon. And now you're joining former team from, I was part of that team, Team Sky. Edvald was there as well. First time in a British team. Are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, very much. I have to say it's a team I've always been looking up to. I think they, let's say, revolutionized cycling or the way of racing a little bit when they came into cycling. I believe it was in 2010 or 2011. Okay. And then 2012 with the Olympics, it was all very, very impressive, and for a young rider, I think this was a bit the ultimate goal of being at that time in Team Sky, and I still feel like it's just a wonderful chance that I have now to join Team Ineos and hopefully be successful with the team and be successful myself. I really want to find my winning ways back, and I think this is the team to be in to do so.
Edvald, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think the first Tour de France victory for Team Sky.
Yep.
You brought it in.
It was me.
Do you remember that day?
Yeah, I remember. It's nice memories from there, and had great memories and good help from Geraint. So see him in the picture behind as well, celebrating. So it was good memories there, and I had good time in Sky. There was good riders and good organization behind, and so no, you can you can
forward to
look forward to it.
Great. I'm
It's
happy about that.
changed quite a lot, but I think it's still the core is still really good.
Yeah.
So it was really nice.
And you also won 4 stages in Tour of Britain and general classification of Tour of Britain.
Yeah.
How was that?
It was really nice. It was good memories riding in Tour of Britain and winning sometimes sprints, some breakaways, and different victories. So it was great memories to look back at my career. It's been good.
I want to talk to you as well because those were the very early years of your career. We talked with Bob about his early years as well at Quickstep. You both were very successful. What changed, in 17 years as a pro cyclist? What changed after those early years being so successful?
No, it's changed. Equipment has been changing, but and I think with Sky we also were early with all super team. It's always been important with teamwork, but I think with Sky was really pushing that even further on and worked even more together and helped on GC and winning Tour de France with Bradley and Froome was nice to be part of that as well. So I think everything has been pushing more the limits with aerodynamics and aero shirts, no cables like on this picture. It's
That was it. That was Gent Wevelgem?
Yeah, it was Gent Wevelgem.
How old were you back then?
21, I think. So it's a long time now, but it was, it was great memories, and it's nice to see pictures from that again.
Because I personally, nowadays we're a lot more used to see like young kids winning early on, big races.
Yeah.
But that wasn't that usual back then. And I remember I was there. I was racing that again, Wevelgem as well. It didn't go that good for me. It actually went very bad that year. And I remember getting at the finish line and say, this guy won, Edvald Boasson Hagen. It's like, whoa, I couldn't even spell the name. Honestly. I was like, from who? And then, then it came out like, we're a very talented rider. You both guys had something really in common, and was the way we can see here with Edvald, elbows in, aerodynamic, looking super good on the bike, super aerodynamic, powerful, very well fit early on. How did you get that, Bob? How were you also and Edvald so well on the bike from early on your years?
I have to say, personally, for me, it was always a bit of a natural thing, just a question of flexibility. And I think from early days, I think it was also a bit the trend back in the day, really, to have your handlebar super low, saddle high, small frame. That was before all the bike fits. You had to look good, first of all. That was the most important thing. And that all changed quite a bit afterwards. But like I say, for me, it was always let's say a gift a little bit from nature to be quite flexible, so I could also sustain those quite extreme positions, and definitely helped me back in the day when we could still put our arms on the handlebar, and I think for me it was always a natural point that I had. Yeah.
How is it now? Have you been already fitted in your new bike and your coming season bike, or has it changed, or you're again naturally nicely fit in there?
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, even changing a couple of bike brands in recent years, it almost stays always the same. Even all the bikes now, they have more or less a similar geometry, and sometimes you have half a centimeter on the stem that changes, but nothing really special. Saddle height stays the same. I think it's more the components sometimes that make it a bit more difficult to adjust to. But yeah, like I say, the frame size stays the same. And then afterwards, you keep your position more or less like it was. I
want to ask Eddie as well, because you just joined Team Ineos, not Sky, Ineos. And another Norwegian just rejoined. He came back to the team, which is none other than Kurt Arle Arvesen. Was he a teammate that inspired you, Edvald, back in the days?
Yeah, he's always been strong, and he have a lot of knowledge. So he's, I think he was going to be good to come back to Ineos, and it's, yeah, I've not been actually looking up to much riders, but he's been, of course, one of them that I saw on TV. But it's not been many races or much watching TV on cycling in general, but I've always been enjoying myself riding and training. But when I was young, I never really watched cycling at all. I was just more outside and playing on my bike myself. But of course, he's been. If he was not riding early on, maybe I was not riding. That's possible.
How about you, Bob? Any teammate that really inspired you? You've been quite big teams, from Quickstep to Trek.
I think most of all, I think it was probably Fabian when I joined. I mean, I was 19, 20 years old, and joined Trek at that time with a very experienced team. Thinking of Schleck brothers, Cancellara, Klöden, Hondo, Zubeldia. These guys were almost double as old as me. But I think Fabian had the biggest, let's say, impact, or he was more of an idol for me than a teammate. And I think, afterwards I made my own way, but I think him, and then also in Quickstep, guys like Tom Bonen, is just it's almost the respect you have for those guys, the prestige almost to ride with them is quite overwhelming. Yeah.
It's nice that you mentioned respect, because especially with Tom Bonen, because before in the previous talk with Luke Rowe and Sean Kelly, he was actually mentioning as well as Tom Bonen was being super respectful in the bunch. But he was talking about how probably he earned that. He earned that not because of the results, but because his attitude in the bunch. Do you agree with that? Do you think Tom Bonen had a great attitude in the bunch against the rest of the bunch?
Yeah, 100%. I think back in the day, it always sounds weird, but like 10, 15 years ago, it was always, we had those figures in the bunch. You had these guys that were just different than others, or had a different presence, I think, in the bunch, and Tom was definitely one of them, like Fabian was, and or even before, probably Cipollini was one of the guys where characters, and I think this is also something that changed quite a bit. You see it a little bit less nowadays, but yeah, when I started, those guys were definitely the ones where you would leave space and just let them pass or whatever, and be careful. Yeah.
Edvald, you were in the Tour, Team Sky, Tour de France, when Bradley Wiggins, 2012, won the Tour. How was that year? How was that season? How was that Tour de France?
It was personally, it was really great year, and it was nice. I was in good shape and was able to ride real well at the front, and also climbing well, so I could help Brad a lot. And it was a good teammate to ride for. And
was he as respected as other riders, as Fabian, for example, like as Bob was just mentioning?
Yeah, or
in the bunch. I mean, in the bunch, where you had to fight for the position him.
Yeah, no, everywhere. It was in general a lot more respect. Like you say, 10, 15 years ago, it was more than now. But I think with Sky, we started to ride at the front and often stayed at the front, so it was more easy to stay there as well. But now it's trains left and right and everywhere, and everyone tries to be at the front and be the team who is leading, so that makes it less respect. But
so you think
it was easier?
Bob, yeah, you think everyone has to fight for the position now? So there's not even, I don't know, Pogacar being respected in the bunch, or you think that he has to fight as well to be there?
I think there's a general respect is still there, but I just think that the level of all the riders just went up so much that the pressure from the teams is also going up because everybody wants to succeed. And I know, looking at the roads, all the furniture and everything that is added, it's pretty bad for us. So yeah, you just have, where we had in the past 2 teams maybe riding at the front, now it's 6 riding next to each other, and you go into a road where 2 riders can fit next to each other, so it's not going to work. It's I don't think that it became reckless, but it's definitely another I don't know. I don't even want to say it's respect, but it's just another dynamic between teams. And yeah, I think for riders that experienced the old kind of racing, sometimes it's a bit frustrating.
Yeah, we were talking before about opportunities, big teams, small teams. You both guys rode for AG2R, Decathlon, French team, who's been actually very successful this season. And what opportunities you think the big teams with big budgets leave for smaller teams that actually do win races?
You all start on the same level on the start pitch, but it's of course with higher budget you can do more training camps maybe and more testing and things, but in the end we start on the line and compete, and it's up to the legs in the end. And if you are like Poggy, you just attack at 100k to go, and yeah, then you don't need respect from other riders when you are alone at the front. So he makes it easy for himself, but it's not easy to follow him. That's the problem.
Do you think, Bob, that bigger budget teams have to learn from smaller budget teams in the way of racing and freedom?
Yeah, I think so. I think I think there's always this scenario if you look at the tour where even the big 2-3 teams, they neutralize each other so much that sometimes there's a gap for smaller teams, like to go in a break, smaller teams to maybe second row teams to go in a breakaway and just have a go like this guy and go for a nice stage win, and I think many of the bigger teams definitely could adapt to that kind of racing. Maybe not in all the races, but I think it's definitely something that could make it a little bit more interesting sometimes. But it's also it's very easily set. On the other hand, it's also like Eddie said, if Tadej decides to attack with 100k to go, there's not much anybody can do. So. But I think it's something to think about for the next year for sure.
Yeah, we see you here winning Tour de France stage, precisely with AG2R. What was your experience with AG2R, Citroën, and how much you think has changed since then until the year that Edvald has been racing this year? Actually, super successful year with brand new bike, Van Rysel bike, the Decathlon. Everyone was a bit eclectic, and they had a great season for them.
Yeah, I mean, this was I joined them after 5 years at Quickstep. I think that was definitely still it was the first year where Citroën joined, so it was a big sponsor. The team had a lot more budget, a lot more opportunities. But I think the mentality was still like sometimes and this is not in a negative way, but just the old school, little bit slow adapting French way of thinking. But yeah, like I said before, I had a wonderful time there. Super great successes, and I think you joined maybe 2 years after that.
Yeah, or
I think
this year or in January.
Yeah.
Joined.
So yeah, and then I think Citroën, they left again then afterwards, and AG2R took over. And then, yeah, within the blink of an eye, you can, just one season you succeed like no other. And I think this is what we saw this year with them. So it's, you just have to keep on, developing, keep on improving, and that's the way to go.
Because Edvald, you also raced for Total Energy before another French team. and this year Decathlon, another French team. What was the difference? Were the same, or there were that differences between them?
No, it's difference in every team, but I've been enjoying every team, and of course I didn't, or not of course, but I didn't learn. I used 4 years to learn nothing on French, so it's more difficult to speak with people, but I still had good time, and they were all friendly, and it's nice to be part of. It's a big in cycling. French is the big country, or France is a big country, so it's nice to be seeing it from that side as well, and it is a bit. Yeah, everyone says it's more old school, but I think they all want to adapt, and especially with the Decathlon coming in, and now it's changing a lot, and they speak more English, and it's easier for foreigners to be part of it. And Van Rysel came in like a big sponsor or Decathlon with Van Rysel bikes, so that helped a lot with on the performance side, I think. And they have a lot of testing, and they're really doing a lot of great stuff. So it's interesting to be inside the team and see how much it actually can change from one year to another year, and it's great to see. And it's a really good bike. It's it's one of the cheapest in the peloton, but I would say it's one of the best as well. And not because I've been paid by them, but it's because it's really true.
You're happy with it?
Yeah, it's really good. It's a really good bike.
I want to ask you as well, both of you, because you both had a very long careers, over 10 years, I think, in any professional rider, World Tour, who's raced more than 10 years for me is considered a long career. What's the secret for that, to have such a long time at that level?
Well, for me personally, I think it's finding that balance, over the years, just to have a balance of your private life, of your professional life, and to just have the required amount of downtime as well. And I mentioned this before in the interview. I said it's something I'm very curious to see in the years coming now with younger riders that enter these structures actually when they are 16, 17 years old, how they will cope with it when they are 25, 30. But yeah, I'm very grateful to have found my balance and to have a long career. But this was always, I think, for me the key to really, be motivated again in November in Luxembourg to under the rain, just take the bike out again, and which takes quite some motivation sometimes. Yeah.
How about you, Eddie?
No, I agree in everything he says. It's really important to find the balance, and I actually never been watching or following cycling. So when I'm home, I always train, and I always do what it says in Training Peaks and the trainer, and really focused. But when I'm parking the bike in the garage, I'm not thinking about and go straight up and watch cycling. Then I'm really disconnect and take good break, and I think that's important to be fresh in the head for all the training camps and races to come, and it's important to enjoy as well and have fun on the bike, and that's the main thing, I think. And and just enjoy all the time, because you spend a lot of hours, and it's important.
Because being a professional cyclist, Norwegian, living in Norway, because that's very important to mention about you, Eddie. You always live in Norway, and I want to share an experience with you, because we've been teammates, and I do remember back in the days you will train in Norway during the winter.
Yeah, there was no problems, just training. And before Swift, then I always outside and ski or had spike tires on the bike and always went out. But now with Swift, it's easier to go inside, and I've been spending a lot of hours inside, but it's still nice to live at home and be able to go cross-country skiing, and I think that's also great training, and you use the whole body, and you get out and do something else than only on the bike, and that's also important to be having a long career, I think, to be able to do different things as well, if you like it.
If you like, but I remember we were going to Qatar, had tour of Qatar. Was that in January, February, maybe?
Yeah, start of February.
And you would,
I didn't touch the bike.
You haven't touched the bike on the tarmac. And I remember going out for a training ride, and Eddie was like, "Oh, this feels nice." In January.
Always. And then it was fixed home trainer as well, so it was
sketchy.
And then off we go. But it was
pretty straight roads in Qatar. That's okay.
It's easy. It's easy that way.
Crosswinds, straight into the crosswinds and the camels and winning stages.
Yep. No, it was good. But it's part of having fun and enjoy. And then, as long as you're just training and do what you like to do, I think you can perform as well. And it's more important to enjoy and to do proper training than go stay on training camps. And if you're not happy in your head, it doesn't work. So for me, it's been important to just disconnect and focus on training.
One thing I would like to highlight from both of you is the fact that apart from long career, you're very adaptable. You've been to different teams, different cultured teams, because still in cycling, it's quite international, we all talk about that, but you've been to Belgium, French, now British. Do you think the culture within every different team for every different nationality has an impact on the way they do things?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the culture obviously comes from the history of racing and looking back at. I think Quickstep had always a very, very strong classic focus. AG2R always, Grand Tours a little bit more, and then now Ineos again, Grand Tours, and Bora was a bit like something in between, like Trek, and I think it obviously has an impact on how you ride. I think how you behave, and also how you integrate into the teams. I was always fortunate enough to speak pretty much every language that they spoke, and I think that helped quite a lot. But like you mentioned before, coming to a French team, not speaking French is a tough task, and so yeah, it definitely has an impact on how you are feeling in the team and how you thrive or you don't. 100% that the culture of the team changes the riders as well then.
And Eddie, just to finish, last question, how important you think that it's being adaptable in order to be in different teams? Because you've been Norwegian, and you had to adapt. Right now we have X, but you had to adapt from early on.
Yeah,
do you see yourself, do you think it would have been possible for you without having that skill in cycling to perform?
Of course it would have been more difficult, and for me I adapt to most people. They have to be pretty bad if I'm not enjoying or like the person and or the team. So, and even I don't understand, but I can feel that when people are friendly or not. So every team I've been to, it's been great moments and time and been enjoying. So it's not been a problem to adapt, and I'm not a person that has to have people around me to talk to all the time. I can be happy, quiet, and relaxed alone as well. So I enjoy myself time as well, and that's also important because you are with people all the time on the bus, in the room, or all the time. So it's good to also be sometimes relax a little bit by yourself and not be stressed because it's a little bit quiet. It's important.
I wish you a good adaptation on both new chapters, new team, new life for Edvald Boasson Hagen. Thanks for being here, and thanks everyone for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you.